This is a tragic incident that happened in a criminal psychiatric hospital. A mentally ill criminal collapsed in his cell. The prison guard quickly sent him to the medical room. Surprisingly, there was no guard left by such a dangerous criminal. While the nurse unstrapped the restraints to set up the ECG monitor, the criminal's eyes were tightly shut. His hands kept making small movements. As the nurse turned around, he unlocked the cuffs and got up to kill. And this mentally ill criminal turned out to be the notorious Chesapeake Ripper. Every time the Chesapeake Ripper killed, he would murder 3 victims within 9 days. Each victim's death was gruesome. The killer used every tool available. The victim watched themselves being tortured while still conscious, until there were no more places left to strike. The killer would then slit their throat. Finally, the killer would take one of the victim's organs as a keepsake. It has been 2 years since the Chesapeake Ripper last killed. When it was heard that the Chesapeake Ripper had resurfaced, Sheriff Jack immediately brought in his consultant, Will, to investigate. Director Chilton warmly welcomed the two. He then led them to the crime scene. The nurse's body was pierced by several steel rods. Her eyeballs were also removed. Will began to reenact the crime scene. The killer was pushed into the medical room. He secretly hid a fork's tines in the skin of his palm. As the nurse set up the monitoring equipment for him, he pulled the tines from his palm and unlocked the cuffs. He then brutally murdered the nurse. He punched the nurse's throat, crushing it, leaving her unable to call for help from the guards outside. He then gouged out her eyes with his thumbs. He tortured her to death using enforced stand. Will, coming to his senses, felt this mentally ill criminal wasn't the Chesapeake Ripper. The nurse didn't have any organs removed. This went against the typical characteristics of a serial killer. Moreover, the Chesapeake Ripper was a meticulous killer. He would never commit a crime out of impulse. However, Director Chilton insisted the inmate, Gideon, is the Chesapeake Ripper. Will decided to visit the cell and meet the so-called Chesapeake Ripper.